And this morning on this adventure we have stumbled upon a gazebo with a little garden area. Looks like a nice place to rest and reflect on the day's activities. But look at the sky. Not exactly a beautiful day. We got some kind of dark clouds. I sure hope we don't get a tornado. That would not be a good thing. We don't need to get blown away. And we definitely do not want to get caught in a tornado today because we are not in Kansas anymore. We are in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. And this house right here behind me, guess what that is? That is the birth home of Judy Garland. And if you're not sure who Judy Garland is, that is Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Now, I don't know too much about Judy Garland. I know I've seen The Wizard of Oz many times, but there is a museum, and this is the house that she was born in right there. And so we're gonna check it out. I have a friend named Nina B, who has been Dorothy for Halloween. She loves the ruby red slippers, and she's been an early supporter of Tommy Travels. So I thought, just for her, I would go check out some Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz, Dorothy stuff today. So welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels. It's Tommy Travels. I'm not sure what kind of an adventure this is gonna be, but I'm sure it's gonna be fun. So come on with me and let's go see what there is to see. And here's a little look at the side of the house. I like the little flowers in the windowsill right there. And what I really like is this guy right here. It's an old style lawnmower. Makes me feel kind of old because I remember when I was in like 1st or 2nd grade, my dad used to mow the lawn with something very similar to this, except it had a metal handle. It was a tad more modern than this, at least, but it was a very quiet and efficient way to mow the lawn back then. And here it is, a look at the home itself, a better view. And it wasn't originally in this location, it was actually moved to this location where they then built a museum, which is where we're going to be entering into, and then we'll wind around and we'll get to actually see the inside of the house, which is, from what I understand, set up as it would have been, or very similar to what it would have been like when Judy lived here. And I know this isn't the actual house from the movie Wizard of Oz, it's the one that she was born in, but when I look at it, I still can't help but imagine it spinning around in the sky, about to land on a wicked witch. And then a bunch of little munchkins singing "Ding Dong, the witch is dead." Your imagination can run wild pretty quickly around here. Well, hey there, Dorothy. Nice to meet you and welcome to Tommy Travels. Hey, would you happen to know where the main entrance is to this place? Oh, that way? Well, thank you very much. You've been very helpful. And the first thing we are greeted with here today in the museum is what looks like a chainsaw carving of the Cowardly Lion. Look at that. Very detailed. Well done, whoever did that. Well done. So Judy Garland was actually born Frances Gum. And this is a poster from a 1929 advertisement for the Gum Sisters. She was the youngest of the 3 sisters. And this is for the performance which earned the 7-year-old Judy Garland her first individual praise. Frances did an imitation of Ted Lewis singing "Wear a Hat with a Silver Lining" and "Little Pal." Local newspaper review read, "But the remarkable work of baby Frances particularly appeals to hearers because of her diminutive size and few years." And it says right there, Three Gum Sisters. The Three Gum Sisters. A guaranteed attraction. And she would go on to become Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Who knew? And these are some old movie posters. These are actually from before The Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland made 5 feature films at MGM before The Wizard of Oz. Like this one, Broadway Melody in 1938. That was the first one, and then Everybody Sing, and even Listen Darling. Look at her. She looks so young. Those are really cool posters, though. Does anybody remember this movie? The Pirate? Not me, but it did star Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. The great Gene Kelly. All presented in Technicolor. And songs by Cole Porter. And here's Judy Garland with Clark Gable. And Judy was catapulted to fame when she sang Dear Mr. Gable at Clark's elaborate 36th birthday celebration. And he was very touched. He was actually moved to tears. And so much so that he gave her that bracelet that she is checking out right there. And it contains miniature musical instruments inside of it. And speaking of music, right there, that is the song sheet for You Made Me Love You. Boy, every one of these adventures, you learn something fascinating. See this in this picture frame here? It's a postcard. It says, Dear John, thank you so much for all the efforts of you and the Judy Garland Historical Center on behalf of Judy Garland. Warmest regards, Lorna, Joe, and Liza Minnelli, of all people. And why Liza Minnelli? Because Liza Minnelli is Judy Garland's daughter. That's her holding her right there. Judy's 3 children were Liza Minnelli, born March 12, 1946, Lorna Luft, born November 21, 1952, and Joseph Luft, born March 29, 1955. I had no idea that Judy Garland was the mother of Liza Minnelli. As I said, I didn't know too much about Judy Garland, obviously, but that was a surprise to me. And what we are looking at right here is the front page of the St. Paul Sunday Pioneer Press. And this is from May 11th, 1958. And what is she doing on the front page, you ask? Well, as the sign said, Miss Garland performed for the Minnesota Centennial Celebration at Memorial Stadium in St. Paul on May 11th, 1958. She received the Order of the North Star. And there is a look at the program right there. Well, there may not be any ruby red slippers in this particular museum, but we do have some shoes from Judy Garland herself. These are some baby shoes, early dancing shoes. And then this is Judy Garland's boots from the Harvey Girls wardrobe. Harvey Girls. Very cool. And what do we have around the corner here? Oh my gosh! It is the Wicked Witch of the West herself. How are you doing today, ma'am? Good to see you.
When I gain those ruby slippers, my power will be the greatest in Oz.
All right. Well, hopefully you don't gain those ruby slippers then. This museum at one time had actual ruby slippers from the movie, but they were stolen. And so now they have a replica right here of the ruby red slippers. Not worn in the movie, but still very cool in this setting. And here's a picture of the real ruby slippers that were stolen from this museum by some wicked thieves 13 years ago. And police have been searching for them ever since. And then just about 5 days after this adventure was filmed, through the magic of a police sting, they were finally recovered in Minneapolis. Unbelievable. And there is no word as of yet as to if and when these ruby red slippers will be returned to their rightful place inside of the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. But we'll all be looking forward to that day if it comes. And here's a black and white photo of Judy Garland in her dress from The Wizard of Oz. And this is the original dress, as it says right here, from 10/31/38. And it says, "Own hair and fall before darkening." I'm not sure exactly what that means, but here's that very dress right here in front of us, live and in full color. Very sweet. Well, would you look at this? I've seen a lot of horse-drawn carriages in my travels, in my previous adventures, but nothing tops this one. This is the very carriage that was drawn by a horse of a different color. If you've seen the movie, like I have many, many times, you remember hearing the guy say, "Well, that's a horse of a different color." And that horse was hooked up to this very carriage right here. Boy, it's very surreal. I've seen this movie I don't know how many times, every Halloween for years and years, and I remember that scene. I never would have guessed that when I woke up this morning I would be standing here in front of that very carriage. And look at this. They even got a bunch of Wizard of Oz little toys and memorabilia. I'll get you. Oh, look at this. Even a Dorothy Jack in the Box. A Dorothy in the box. And look at this. They've got it like a 3D mural of the Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, Dorothy, and of course the Scarecrow and Toto. So here's the entrance to the house from the museum. Little back room right here. And it enters right in to the kitchen. And now, none of this furniture was actually from the Judy Garland family or anything like that, but it is restored to its circa 1925 appearance. And so this is replica furniture that is based on family photographs and eyewitness accounts. So this is about as close as you can get to walking into the actual home of Judy Garland when she was born here, the first 4 years of her life. And the kitchen leads into quite a spacious dining room, very formal setting. And look, they've got a classic sewing machine right by the front window there, because they used to sew their own dresses back then. They didn't go to TJ Maxx or Marshall's or Target. They made their own stuff out of their own material. Here's the dining room and the chandelier. And of course, you gotta do some work sometimes on the old typewriter, which is not unlike the typewriter that I learned to type on. And of course, the old family phone. Hello? I could just hear that. And here, when you walk into the front door, you can go up the steps or go right over here into the living room. They've got the old piano and phonograph over there. Pretty nice couch. And even some snacks. In case you get a little hungry. It says here when Frank and Ethel Gum were performing on stage, all three girls would sit out in front and lead the applause. Mom and Dad would return the favor for the girls when they sang, and this was their first practical training in the show business. And there's a picture right there on the piano, I'm assuming, of Judy Garland herself. And then when you come upstairs here, there's a little bathroom. There's a kids' room in here. And then of course right here is the master bedroom. And Judy Garland, she was born Frances, or Baby Gum, later known to millions as Judy Garland. And she shared this bedroom with her parents. Well, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me today. It's been a real fun time here at the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, where we learned a lot of things today about Judy Garland. And if you liked what you saw today, go ahead and hit subscribe on my YouTube channel and go ahead and hit the bell notification next to it. You can also go to TommyTravels.fun to see my Facebook and Instagram and lots of ways to hook up with me. And so it's been a blast hanging out with you guys here today, and also feel free to share this video with your friends. We're trying to get some more subscribers and more people listening and watching, and so take a moment, hit the share button, hit some comments down below if you really like the museum and Judy Garland. Love to hear from you. And you guys, until next time, I hope to catch you on the flip side. And what we are looking at here is the gorgeous Lake Mille Lacs. Just on my way home from my adventure in Grand Rapids, Minnesota at the Judy Garland Museum. I thought I'd give you a little look at the beautiful lake, which may be a future destination of Tommy Travels.